Coming in at number 10, Chester the Chimp, Withered. Now, while staying true to his original appearance, Withered Chester is the older and broken down version. He lacks his right upper arm and left lower leg suit covering, revealing his endoskeleton underneath. Part of his face is completely removed, alongside his casting for his eyes and his left ear, and also his body seems to be pretty dirty. He also seems to be missing part of his eyes, or at least some of his eyes. He only got 2. You know what I'm saying? But believe me, this chimp is not the chimp we know and love with the symbols. You know, the one making the music? This weathered chimp can stay in the animatronic jungle. Thank you.
At 9, Candy. Candy the cat is the central antagonist of Five Nights at Candy's and Five Nights at Candy's Remastered. I mean, I hope that would be obvious. He's an animatronic cat who, like the other animatronics, wanders around the restaurant in search of the night guard. He also has a twin sister named Cindy the cat. Sorry dude, I know what that's like. Not really, not like a twin, but like I know what it's like to have a sister. Candy is a blue animatronic with a red tie, rosy cheeks, and red eyes. Same. Candy has triangular ears and has triangular teeth on their upper jaw, and his appearance heavily resembles the toy animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. In later games, Candy appears to be the same as he was in the first game, but more cartoonish and like kind of smaller than his original version. He also has a 16-bit appearance to match him with more arcade-like characters, because you know, FNAF's all about the 8-bits and stuff, and it's a FNAF fan game, so I hope that makes sense.
Coming in at number 8, Monster Vinny. So in one of my reviews on the Nightmare channel, I talk about dolls, right? How many times do I need to talk about dolls? I freaking hate them too. Okay, this is the worst one because it's a puppet. Hello, like it's a puppet. Where are the strings for this dude? I mean, it looks like he is controlled, but by who? Okay, instead of sharing the same eyes as Nightmare Own and the new Vinny, the eye part of the mask is just wide open. Okay, the eyes appears to be held up by a metal frame from inside the mask. The jaw appears to be able to move like a dummy. The mouth contains, yet again, sharp teeth. You can shine the light on him. So how is a man supposed to find him? You don't. He finds you. Christ's sakes, man. Let alone he is the under the bed type of monster. The longer you play, see, this is why I don't like dolls and puppets. Okay? I like to put them under my bed. Stay there. Don't come out, please.
And at 7, Jacko Chica. Jacko Chica is a scary animatronic, being introduced in the FNAF 4 Halloween update and later making its way into the Help Wanted DLC. I always want to avoid this animatronic, however in the Pirate Ride minigame it may be impossible. In the second Helpy section that's revealed, the one at the end of the level, you get taken through the back rooms, one of which appears to be the kitchen where Chica is standing outside. To get her to move inside, you need to hit a scrolling red button that's going past. You know, it's like on like a conveyor belt like thing, just being dragged. You need to hit that red button to get her to go back in. If you miss, however, she will run at you. This jump scare is easy because you see it coming. You literally watch her chicken feet slap the floor as she sprints full force, coming at you like you're a freshly cooked pizza pie. But you still see her coming, so you know when the scare is coming too.
Coming in at number 6, the Withered Rat is somewhat similar to the Withered Cat. He only activates on the last few nights. Not much is known about him, but like I said, he only appears in night 5 and starts to go ballistic by night 6. He is possessed by an actor from the Rat and Cat Theater, or so we presume. The Rat and Cat seem to be the only animatronics that will brutally murder a teenager, at least in broad daylight. When I first saw this, I'm like, nah fam, thank God I ain't a teen anymore. But this may be because of the incident seen during FNAF 3 in their mini games. Like I said, FNAF 3, alright? So when the 2 actors died in the suits, and y'all should know that, excuse me, they ain't no Gundams though. They ain't no Gundam warriors trying to get out the suit. Get out that suit. You know, when you're done with it, wash the damn thing. The last thing you want is a moldy suit. I guess these withers can just give a rat's ass. I guess we gotta get the good cheese and go trap them.
Halfway through in at number 5, Shadow Rat. Shadow Rat is the final antagonist of Five Nights at Candy's 3. He is a purple shadow version of Monster Rat. He appears in the Deepscape and in the Shadow Challenge. Shadow Rat's appearance is similar to that of the rat from FNAF 2. He has hollow eyes and jagged teeth, much like the rat from FNAF 2, and Shadow Rat's forehead is also stitched together. The sprite of Shadow Rat also looks more similar to that of Monster Rat, seeing as how they're basically the same thing except one's purple, and you can't really see his eyes when he turns around. Shadow Rat also has another form only seen in the Shadow Challenge. The Shadow Challenge only includes the Shadow Rat, which is again a purple shadowy form of the original Monster Rat that has no pupils and is much more menacing than the Monster Rat, with a pose more elegant, as the wiki put it, and pronounced than the Monster Rats, which is kind of like hunched over and stuff, but no. This one's loud and proud and ready to just tear you to bits, and not in the fun way.
Coming in at number 4, Blank, the animatronic. Okay, now this one is just wrong, all right? It physically scared the shit out of me, all right? When I watch these videos, I'm like, come on, man. It's bad enough we have animatronic demons gunning for our heads, but now you got a blank face looking Slender Man type of robot, or should I say an animatronic, wanting your soul? I do not know what is worse. The fact that little children used him as a coloring book? Not only that, no one wants to fix this poor bot. They all need some type of maintenance. Come on, a little lube, grease, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. I can't speak for Blank. He may just leave you alone if you restored him like the Pimp My Animatronic show. See, now with Freddy being your main host, that might be a good show. Who am I to speak though? He is a loner, and God forbid, if you see what he is drawing, good luck for you.
And at 3, VR. The VR animatronics are the normal animatronics that we know. Glitch Trap is the only real other character added by this game, and he doesn't get a jump scare, so what am I talking about specifically? It's plain and simple. Having the jump scares in your face on screen is one thing. Having them in your face in an environment that you can't really escape by looking away is much worse. The animatronics being in your face is some of the most horrific experiences that I've had with my Oculus headset, aside from playing The Forest in VR, but it's something else actually seeing these animatronics at such a scale and being so powerless to stop them. These things are huge if you keep yourself at the default height. They tower over you. I have to increase my size to something closer to mine for like motion sickness reasons. It just kind of makes my head spin, but even when these things are still taller than me, it makes me want to defecate in my shorts and then run away. Not cool. They're still taller than me, even when I make my height normal.
Coming in at number 2, the Penguin. Yeah, the Penguin. He's a glitching animatronic unlike the other ones. He doesn't kill you though. He forces you to restart your camera monitor instead. You know how important your camera monitor is. Leaving you open to several different attacks for several seconds. Bro, this ain't even the cream on the top. You see him on the security camera, then he disappears. Next thing you know, you see his little beady eyes in your room, and boom! A quick snap and he's in front of you. The sense of horror of him just popping out and then sabotaging your base of operations kinda sounds like someone we know. Homie Brian, huh? Yeah, all jokes aside though, this ain't the penguins from Madagascar, I tell ya. He's mean, man, like a ice cold, bad, just bad.
And he's dirt nasty.
Dirt nasty.
And finally, in at number 1, Lollipop. Dude, what the actual living flying hell is this thing? Goddamn. Lollipop appears in FNAF 3 in the thank you image behind New Candy and withered New Cindy. He is required to get the ultimate ending, and Lollipop is an anthropomorphic peppermint, the animatronic being mostly just a head with a body attached to it, obviously. I mean, like, I don't know why they felt the need to include that on the wiki. He wears a steel blue job outfit along with a sailor's cap. And to find Lollipop, the player must talk to all of the toys, and when they say, if you have something to say, say it now, type where is she? All caps, no spaces. Then they will explain how to find Lollipop. Again, I don't know why the wiki couldn't just tell you where to find Lollipop. And then you gotta play one of his games and collect the piece of the 4th star. But seriously, Lollipop's jump scare? Even like just the image for it is absolutely terrifying. What the hell? Like I thought that Shadow Cat or Blank was bad. No, what the ever-loving is this thing? Or as Jay put it, no one wants to lick this thing. That's relatable.
Coming in at number 10, we got Phantoms. Well, Phantoms. Yeah, the thought of these guys just make me feel that I on that good Tiba. and some wine. Starting to hallucinate and seeing ghosts? Nah fam, the fact that they just don't kill you, they just haunt you. Oh, messing up the flow of your game. Like, I don't want to get caught in no ventilation system and then I'm seeing some ghost come flying at me. What the hell is this? Ghostbusters? I mean, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but these phantoms? Fam, nope, not for me. Legit, screw that. What happened to the simple games of crawling in events and not having to deal with ghosts? Like the good old Metal Gear. Let that game rest in peace. Damn to hell with these phantoms. Seeing them now is just making me think about them non-stop.
And at 9, Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy's jump scare is probably the scariest from the first game solely because it's the most unexpected. Like, you're just chilling there, then all of a sudden you have an animatronic in your face. But it also was important to us since it really helped drive the mystery home of just really what was going on in this game. I mean, the jump scare crashed you to your desktop, so like what else are we gonna think? That everything is just honky-dory? No! We're gonna get suspicious! And honestly, can you blame us? Especially with everything that came with the series after this. Like, the amount of questions this brought up only got worse after this game. Plus, we still don't really know why this actually happened. Like, why does this series insist on torturing me like a crazy ex? I already have one. Okay, I don't need two.
Coming in at number 8, Nightmare Mangle. Look at this. What in the flying chunky donkey is this dude? Like, look fam, he looks like Foxy slept with the Wither from Minecraft, and that was born, okay? Talk about an ugly looking baby. You know those one babies you'll see in life and it's just like, damn, that's an ugly. Sorry, let me stop. You know, God forgive me though. But for real, dog, like Nightmare Mangle also be looking like a spider, and damn it, I freaking hate spiders. Tell that bot to put some clothes on or some metal armor. Nobody ain't trying to see your innards, my G.
And it's 7, Withered Cat. Withered Cat, also just known as Cat for some reason, even though they're withered and not the normal cat, is a new animatronic and one of the 2 main antagonists of Five Nights at Candy's 2, the other being the rat. He is the withered incarnation of the cat, although, like I said, I don't know why they just call him the cat. He, along with the withered rat, appear in only Nights 6 and 8. He also is similar to the withered rat because they're both withered. They both have the same dominant color and have fallen into disrepair. However, the cat also has hollowed eyes, with the right eye bearing stitches. Like the rat, he has a stitch running across his head and some of his joints, yet he doesn't have a metallic skin or layer showing. Unlike his monster counterpart though, he has no fanged teeth, luckily, because if he did, Jesus Christ, I would be crying. He also has exposed endoskeleton fingers along with his left hand and his lower left leg, with parts of his upper left leg being exposed. His body is damaged, as is his head. Hashtag relatable. He also seems to be less damaged than the rat. Hashtag not relatable.
Coming in at number 6, Nightmare Chica, Big Bertha. Yeah, Chica, man, why you gotta be looking like Big Bertha? Get on that Slim Fast, that workout regimen, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, Nightmare Chica is just rude. They bodied her best features, as per the Cheese King says. You guys know he likes the Chicas, big or small. They gotta all be respected. Then you got the whole Carnage having symbiote in her hand in the form of a cupcake with freaking teeth, and it's sharp as hell. Between Nightmare Chica's teeth and the cupcakes, I don't know which is worse and scarier. To be honest, the fact that my potential fried chicken or a sweet cupcake can eat me? No, Kimasabe, I am out this. Alright, talk about a kitchen nightmare.
Halfway through in number 5, Vanny. Now, Vanny's jump scare is certainly an interesting one. She's the main antagonist of Security Breach, however, she can only really jump scare you like 3 times. But her jump scare doesn't even seem like she kills you, and she's seemingly incapable of doing so in that moment. I mean, she doesn't have a knife on her or something that's able to off us, and I don't think the suit has pockets, so like where would she be keeping something to off us with? She just seems incapable of killing us in the moment, so what happens? Like, does she take us to Afton? Does she take us to another room where she's storing her items? Does she throw us in the trash compactor or something? Like, seriously, this is the main antagonist of the game, and we don't know how she turns us into corpses. Like, the animatronics, we assume that they just like smash us to bits because they're overpowered robots, but Vanny is just a human. So, what does she do?
Coming in at number 4, Toy Chica, aka Miss Thickums. My chick bad, my chick hood, my chick do stuff that your chick wish she could. Let me stop. Yeah, Toy Chica is a baddie, like the Cheese King says. I know, he likes that Chica, huh? I mean, damn, I thought I liked my chicken though. Okay, if you thought Nightmare Chica was bad, Toy Chica is even worse. I tell you, she looks ever so cute and adorable, but she's hella evil, okay? Don't let the cuteness and glam fool you. She's like Angelica Pickles from the Rugrats. Bad. I tell ya, bad, and not in a good way. Chica just freaks me out, looking like the marshmallow ghost from the Ghostbusters. But I ain't trying to eat her though, hell no. She can keep the bloodthirst and the sass to her goddamn self. Homie don't need that type of smoke, okay?
And in 3, Mangle. Mangle's jump scare from Ultimate Custom Night is sad in my opinion. It feels like I didn't get my money's worth out of the FNAF game and it's really just a fan game instead. Why? Because it's just a static picture that's being shaken around on screen, and I'm pretty sure the same thing goes for Nightmare Mangle too. Just a PNG that gets shaken around a little bit. Come on, that's like me when I was a baby. There's not much other than a noise, and while the noise may scare you a little bit, you usually need the visual to help enhance the effect, but the shaking picture ain't gonna do it. Honestly, a load of Ultimate Custom Night jump scares are like this, as you've been able to tell, and like I have a few of them on this list. And it's unfortunate, but I understand not wanting to animate like 50 different animatronics, like that would suck big time, but I mean like you also did it for Help Wanted, but you also had a bigger studio behind you. Give and take.
Coming in at number 2, the Big Bad Foxy. Yeah, the Big Bad Foxy. Yeah, like the Big Bad Wolf. Do you even know what that is though? Like that actually made me jump. Like this jump scare made me jump. This iteration from FNAF I love. And yes, leading down once again to Little Red Chica. Like come on, why is FNAF making my childhood folktale stories gruesome and scary? Like I cannot tell this story of Little Miss Chica and the Big Bad Foxy, or maybe could I? In all honesty though, the Big Bad Foxy reminded me of Captain Hook. Now maybe it's because he has the hook on his arm, or maybe it's because he inhabits a pirate cave. Shiver me timbers! Leading back to vents, the fox can enter them too, making your life a living hell. The difference here is though, Fox has one meal on his mind, and it's you. So best of luck to ya, FNAFters.
And finally, in at number 1, Springtrap. Now, let me make this clear, okay? I stand by the fact that I don't actually find the Springtrap jump scare to be scary, okay? Springtrap isn't really all that scary of a character in my eyes, and he doesn't even count as an animatronic since Afton is still alive in the suit. However, his jump scare is probably the most important one because it's how we have so many games. In an interview with Dawko on his channel, Scott Cawthon revealed that FNAF 3 was the intentional end to the series, but seemingly thanks to everyone's disappointment with the Springtrap jump scare, he ended up making the 4th game, which then led to all the others. FNAF 3 was supposed to be the last game, but thanks to Springtrap's jump scare, it wasn't. Damn it. Plus, I mean, like, FNAF AR just makes me think, why are you sending out more versions of your killer when you're trying to repair your reputation? Especially when you make him scarier than he was originally. Still don't have an answer to that. Thanks, Cawthon!
Number 10, One Night at Springtrap's PowerPoint Edition. Oh my goodness. You know, after hearing Connor talk about these PowerPoint FNAF fan-made games, I had to try some for myself. And so, here we go. I played one called One Night at Springtraps, and I gotta say, for a PowerPoint presentation made into a game, I was actually kind of impressed with what they did. However, for a game, I was pretty disappointed with what they did and found the game to be kind of annoying. I guess because it's a PowerPoint. I mean, there are limited choices you have in terms of what you can affect in the game. Also, I didn't really get to see much of Springtrap considering that's in the title of the game. Granted, I didn't play all the way through, so maybe there was just a lot of Springtrap the closer you got to the end and I just wasn't there yet. Anyways, for PowerPoint games, they can definitely be scary with how bad they are, but in a way they can also just be like legitimately scary because it's pretty impressive that these people can like make a game out of a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint FNAF fan games. I think every FNAF fan should play at least one of these at least one time. It's an experience, my friends. Number 9, UCN Plush Trap. So yeah, we've talked about Plush Trap before, and I agree with Connor. Plush Trap might not be a direct version of William Afton, but he's basically like a mini Spring Bonnie, which is the suit that Springtrap wears, so I feel like we can count him. It's like a mini Springtrap. Honestly, I would love to learn just more lore about Plush Trap and their story as well. What if they also happen to be directly linked to Afton in some way? It could be kind of cool if one of the deceased Afton kids haunted that animatronic, you know what I mean? Plush Trap has a jump scare in Ultimate Custom Night in addition to their jump scare from FNAF 4. In UCN, it feels like Plush Trap gets even more up in your face, and even if the jump scare isn't prefaced with a a mini game set in a dark hallway, it's still pretty scary. Also, for those of you out there who think Plush Trap isn't really scary because he's cute, I gotta say, I disagree with you. When it comes to doll-sized things attacking me, Chucky gave me some early on PTSD when I was a kid, so I will always be afraid of doll-like creatures that can attack you. I was the person who used to say goodnight to all my dolls and all my plushies individually before I went to bed because I was terrified of what they might do to me when I went into my sleep. So it doesn't matter the size, they freak me out, Plush Trap included. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it where we talk about some of our favorite jump scare moments from the games, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8, Springtrap's Revenge. This one is from a fan game that while I wasn't able to actually get it to run on my computer, it does look really terrifying. I couldn't find the right program to open the file, but I do believe that it is openable and that it is playable. I'm just not sure what program you need to run that game. Aside from it being slightly scary that this game simply didn't seem to work, the audio files and the visuals shown on the Game Jolt page for FNAF Springtrap's Revenge seem to imply that for those who can get this game to run on their computer, or when I maybe figure out how to get it to run, there are lots of scary moments in store featuring one of the most creepy animatronics of all time, Springtrap.
And it's 7 Nightmare On. I've said in lists previous that the puppet's jump scare isn't scary because you can expect it. If you even look at the proper camera, you'll be okay. However, Nightmare On from FNAF 4, the nightmare version of the puppet, is a different story. It's a fearful reflection of what William Afton created. And you know what? That's horrific. This damn thing makes me understand people who fear dolls. Like, pediophobia makes sense to me now. Because if this is what puppets look like to you, I apologize for any jokes I've made about it before. Wait, hold on, sorry, that wasn't a proper YouTuber apology. Nah, I gotta work on that. I gotta have some more fake tears, right? And I have to say that I'm appalled by the person that I used to be. Joking aside, Nightmare On is actually a terrifying animatronic and has a terrifying jump scare, especially when you're in the night terror level in FNAF VR. Like, it's messed up. Why? Why did you have to add the tentacles? Why do I have to deal with tentacles? It just reminds me of the Reaper puppet. And if you know, you know.
Number 6, Springtrap FNAF 2. No, Springtrap was not in FNAF 2. You didn't miss anything. You're not crazy, and yes, I do know that Springtrap was not in FNAF 2. However, with this fan-made mod, you can bring Springtrap into the game and have Toy Freddy replaced with Afton's Springtrap animatronic instead, which I think is a much more horrifying prospect when it comes to playing through FNAF 2. Springtrap makes every game a little more scary with just his presence. Or more specifically, William Afton does. Yikes. I also imagine that fans of FNAF are likely only able to improve upon Springtrap's jump scare animation from FNAF 3 when building their own to be added into the games. Fans are just good at improving things even more because many in the community have the skills and the creativity to do so. And I feel like a lot of them have spare time to throw at this because they love it so much. FNAF fans, they can just be a talented bunch, so. Number 5, a blacklight vent repair Springtrap. So while Connor did already talk about Springtrap's jump scare being even more terrifying in the Help Wanted FNAF 3 versus the original and actual FNAF 3, and I gotta say, I agree, all jump scares are more terrifying in VR. Here, we're actually going to be focusing specifically on Springtrap's jump scare in the vent repair. Oh, so spook! Springtrap is a character you will have to face in the blacklight version of Vent Repair along with Ennard. And yeah, Springtrap isn't the main character here, but Springtrap is around. Here you have to race against the clock as Springtrap crawls towards you as you try to complete your panel. Something even just about Springtrap's presence here terrifies me. Also, blacklight. Blacklight is just scary in general. I think it's the William Afton Springtrap vent combo though that really seals the deal for me on this one. Number 4, Hidden Springtrap. While I know we've discussed how the original appearance of Springtrap's jump scares in FNAF 3 were considered pretty lackluster by fans, I still think they are terrifying because they generally happen to you in a moment when tensions are running quite high, and you're already feeling super anxious. I just feel like FNAF 3 is a very anxiety-inducing game in general. Case in point, when the Phantom Puppet shows up, it does doesn't jump scare you like the other phantom animatronics in the game, but instead obstructs your view, so you're trying to look around, can't see anything. You also can't pull up your monitor or use the maintenance panel during this time. This means it's especially hard for you to keep track of, what Springtrap might be up to and where exactly he is. Unable to distract him away from your location, the puppet jump scare can easily and often lead to a hidden Springtrap jump scare, where as soon as the phantom puppet is gone, Springtrap surprises you by popping up, which I think is even more scary than the standard Springtrap jump scare from this game. And there's nothing you can really do about this one once it starts to happen, which just makes it more terrifying in my opinion, because your view is obstructed, so you can't even use anything to be trying to get Springtrap to go away.
Getting close to the end, in at number 3, Shadow Cat. Shadow Cat is the shadowy form of the monster cat, the quaternary antagonist of Five Nights at Candy's 3. It first appears in the pre-night cutscene of Night 3 and is only seen through its jump scare when the player stands in the darkness for too long. Shadow Cat does not appear in the Shadow Challenge. Shadow Cat, much like Shadow Rat, shares most of its features from the cat from FNAF 2 with a stitched forehead and hollow eye sockets, just like my soul. The Shadow Cat also shares his appearance with the Monster Cat from FNAF 3, mainly with the sharpened teeth and fangs, which weren't present in the original cat from FNAF 2. God, I hope not. Shadow Cat can only be found in the Dreamscape simulations on Nights 3, 4, and 5, and Shadow Cat's only visual depiction is its jump scare, a 2D screen accompanied by a roar shared with the Shadow Rat. Why are these things so goddamn similar? Okay? Be original. It's your goddamn game. Think of something new. Love you though.
Number 2, loading screen of horror. Okay, so yes, admittedly a loading screen is not necessarily a jump scare, but loading screens can be jump scare worthy, I think. And come on friends, this is a part 3, so obviously we're getting to the point where unless it's, all fan games on this list, I gotta talk about things like horrifying loading screens, okay? Still, I'd argue that this actually does deserve its spot on our list, especially considering the sound that accompanies it. We're talking about the hidden loading screens featured in FNAF 3 that also come with that somewhat familiar horrifying sound. Some have likened it to an 8-bit inspired version of Afton's screams of pain. I'm mostly liking it to just sounds of pain for my ears. It's not a pleasant sound, but obviously that's the point. The images aren't pleasant either and reveal Springtrap seemingly pulling back the top of the animatronic suit's head to reveal the decaying corpse of William underneath. Ugh. Number 1, sneaky glitch trap. It's not a traditional jump scare either, but as I said, this is a part 3, so please bear with me here. Please just forgive me for this. Also, glitch trap is so scary, I had to talk about it. One thing I will say though, is this is definitely William Afton at his most scary. For me, at least. It's more of a lurk than a jump right out at you, so it's not as direct. It's not a direct jump scare. But still, it's super scary. This one comes from Help Wanted when Glitch Trap basically shows up to stalk you in the background. Each time he reappears, he also seems to be materializing more and more and getting eerily closer to you. For me, this kind of slow burn of a creepy and inevitable approach is more horrifying actually. But how about for you? Do you prefer a traditional jump right out with loud noises jump scare, or a scare that is more about something that lurks in the background, just on the edge of your field of vision, and every time you look its way it seems to become more solid, more real, and more of a potentially deadly threat? Also, if we're talking about glitch trap and jump scares, I think we gotta talk about those transfer attempts, right? Ugh, those are just scary in general. Especially if you get stuck. I've seen people get stuck where they have just a bunch of them in a row. Oh my gosh, Glitch Trap's trying to take over your mind.
And it's Ed Bonnie. We know FNAF 1 to be the catalyst of all my mental torment. I mean, of the Five Nights at Freddy series. Without this game, obviously, we wouldn't have gotten the others. But with that being said, there are still some damn good jump scares in this game. For example, Bonnie's FNAF 1 jump scare. That even resulted in Scott himself being terrified and having nightmares, making Bonnie in his mind the scariest animatronic. Which is probably why in Ultimate Custom Night, Bonnie didn't get a proper jump scare, only from Pirate's Cove. At least to my knowledge. I'm already bad enough at FNAF games, I don't need to play Ultimate Custom Night. It won't end well, and I'll never actually beat it. But it also explains why in Sister Location, after the horror that is Nightmare Bonnie, we got a puppet version, and why in Security Breach we only get a cameo in the form of a bowling arena, at least as far as we know currently as this is being filmed. And at 9, Foxy. Foxy doesn't have the best track record for jump scares. His FNAF 1 jump scare isn't scary, and he was on the worst jump scare list multiple times in part 2. However, Scott seems to have brought this back with FNAF Ultimate Custom Night, since Foxy actually gets really up in your face and just makes you shudder. I think that Foxy has the most versatile design, and Grim Foxy is one of my personal favorite animatronics. So I think that this is a good thing, because I want Foxy to be scarier. I don't want to experience the scare, because being scared is supposed to be a bad thing, but I respect those who enjoy the feeling, and I think that Foxy should be able to give them that feeling. And this jump scare does it. It's all about the setup, you know. And it ain't Ennard. I've said previously that the Ennard jump scare during his vent repair isn't scary, but by that I meant the scripted jump scare that occurs after you've completed the level. I also said that in the video, since you expect that jump scare after the first time, or if you've watched literally anyone play it. With that being said, however, nothing can compare to the utter terror that you feel when you're trapped in an elevator having to focus on completing a puzzle while Ennard is watching you, waiting for a chance to make his move, and then teleporting around you at random. And then when he gets you, you just get scared shitless because you were just shaking in your boots for ages while you had to figure out how to get that last gear, and then boom. It's horrible, it's not okay. It's one of the reasons I don't play the Ennard vent repair. Actually, the main reason is like the button presses at the beginning, like you know that puzzle where you have to follow the wire. I'm probably horrible at those, especially under pressure, but like I don't want to confirm it. And it's 7, Nightmare. Going on with my theme of jump scares that actually crash your game, Nightmare is the only other animatronic that does this, which only furthers my point that we have no idea why this is caused. Like, we know that the character of Nightmare is representative of death for Crying Child. That's the whole point of this game. The character ends up being death coming at us while we're in a coma. But then he also crashes us to our desktop. How? Why is that? Does that mean that crashing to the desktop is actually death, and that every other animatronic isn't really killing us? Because that opens up a whole other can of worms that I don't even want to think about thinking about. This would mean that only Golden Freddy and Nightmare kill us while the other animatronics do something else. And I don't want to know what that something else is, unless it's Toy Chica. And at 6, Foxy. Like I said earlier, Foxy never really had the best rep with jump scares. I mean, his FNAF 1 jump scare was so mild that people thought he was trying to help you and killed you by accident, surprising you so much that you had a heart attack. But this man jumped at the opportunity to give the player a better jump scare in FNAF 2. This man will jump at you from the end of the hallway and absolutely make you destroy your shorts. And I respect that. That is an admirable use of your time. More useful than leaving hate comments on a YouTube video, that's for sure. Yeah, that's right, I'm looking at you. Yeah? You don't think that I noticed when you make a throwaway account because you know I'm on to you? Yeah, that's right, Mom. I'll send Foxy after you too. Halfway through it at number 5, Ballora. Some believe Ballora to have been Chica's replacement in Sister Location. Not lore-wise, but gameplay-wise, to cut down on the amount of sultry, paltry fan art that was circulating Reddit. But making this dummy-thick robo was only the beginning of the terror, because much like a real woman, all Ballora wants to do is break your heart by opening her face while you're crawling in the darkness. I don't know what it is about Ballora specifically, but when she opens her face, it is the creepiest out of all the jump scares in that game. Perhaps it's because she has human-like features and proportions, so seeing what's basically a human move their, I guess, flesh from their face at will is really unsettling. But no matter the reason, Ballora has one of the most unsettling jump scares and levels in the game. Having to crawl through her auditorium while listening to see when she's close, but you're not seeing it, you're hearing it, and if you get it wrong, then she jump scares you. And then there's the fact that she crawls like a spider. Damn it, I hate it with a passion. And not the kind of passion you'd be expecting when it comes to dummy thick Ballora. And at 4, Nightmares. The Nightmare animatronics were an overcorrection by Scott because the community wasn't satisfied with the Springtrap jump scare. FNAF 3 was actually meant to be the final game, but since Springtrap was kinda trash, we got the horrific monstrosities that are the Nightmare animatronics. Surely the inspiration for the Twisted ones, the Nightmare animatronics were some of the most horrific additions to the game world, even though they're not real, and in even an in-game sense. They actually are hallucinations caused by illusion sound discs that we learn about in the Twisted Ones novel, ironically, as confirmed by Nightmare Freddy and Ultimate Custom Night. But they still absolutely destroy my mind and make me clench my cheeks when they show up. Why are they here? Because we thought this isn't scary enough? Okay, I've learned my lesson now. Now, please, let me sleep for God's sakes. I see why you're scared of Bonnie Scott. I get it now. Please, let me sleep. Sky Daddy Scott.
Number 3, Nightmare Springtrap. While Nightmare Springtrap in the actual FNAF games is a rare one to run into, in the FNAF fan-made game Ultra Custom Night, he's part of the regular cast of characters. Here, Springtrap has a nightmarish appearance, still super decayed, but with rows and rows of sharp teeth, claw-like sharp hands, and red glowing eyes. He can kill you in Ultra Custom Night if you go too close to the vent where his hand has appeared. In order to get rid of him and avoid a jump scare, you have to switch back and forth between heat and AC unit multiple times.
Penultimately, in at number 2, Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is probably the scariest jump scare from the first game, and probably from the second as well. The animatronic has no interior endoskeleton and is just confusing as to the lore, being able to move around at will, moving through doors and causing weird hallucinations like it's me and Eyeless Bonnie. But what for? We still don't entirely know, and we have no confirmation as to whether any of our theories are right. It's pretty damn terrifying to think about. And not only that, but add the fact that they're the only animatronic in the game that causes a crash to desktop. It's like the jump scare deletes the coconut JPEG that was holding the game together. Why does it crash us? We still don't know, because honestly that's the first interaction between game and the real world, and then that becomes a thing later on in the series, and it has a whole load of implications. And you know that since I just realized this now, this is going to be in the next Tiny Details video, because we know that that's going to get another part, even though nobody in the comments actually decides to help me, usually. Finally, in at number 1, Nightmare. You all knew this was coming. Speaking of another crash to desktop moment, Nightmare from FNAF 4. What is your deal? We know it's meant to represent death or William's wickedness coming for Crying Child, but why do Golden Freddy and Nightmare share this small detail? Why not Golden Freddy and Nightmare Fredbear, since that is the Golden Freddy in this game? Either way, this damn animatronic is the scariest one ever, hands down. This dude is death incarnate, and it's for a reason. Pitch black with a freaking bow tie and top hat. Look at those goddamn munchers too. Those teeth will tear me apart and make me cry for weeks before finally putting me out of my goddamn misery and crashing me to the desktop. The desktop of life. Seriously. I think we all knew that this was going to be number 1, and this has been said like a million times by different people, different points in history. I don't know anymore. Nightmare is terrifying, and if you don't think that Nightmare is the scariest animatronic, who do you think deserved to be number 1? And no, it's not Springtrap, don't even. His jump scare isn't scary. It literally caused another game to be made so that we could actually be scared. And then they continued the series. Which actually is probably the scariest thing of all. And at 10, Phantoms. The Phantom animatronics from FNAF 3 are the scariest thing in that game, aside from the backstory. The design of the animatronics may be simple, but the idea that the jump scare doesn't end your game and in fact makes you panic instead is genius. However, with that being said, eventually you'll figure out when these are going to appear. For example, you check the camera and see that Phantom Foxy is blocking it. The minute you close the camera, you're gonna get jump scared, and something will malfunction. So once you know the signs, the jump scares won't actually be able to get you, and once they stop getting you, you won't really be scared by this game anymore. And I'll get to that point later on. But at least the Phantoms add some unpredictability into the game, but only in the form of you don't know when they're gonna show up. Well, I mean, you know when they're gonna jump scare you, but you don't know when they're going to show up to jump scare you, you know? No strategy will ever be foolproof because of this. Not unpredictability in the scares, because you can guess those, but unpredictability in when those scares will, be able to show up. And at 9, Scrapped. The scrapped animatronic jump scares could be surprising if you're just chilling in your office playing Fruity Maze. However, when interviewing or testing them when you first find them, the scariest thing is the sound. After that, you're okay, because all they do is just stand up a little bit. Like when you don't get the loan you wanted at the bank, and then you start standing up because you're thinking, how could they do this to me? Or I guess how characters in movies or TV do that, because I'm guessing most of the people watching this haven't tried and failed to get a loan from the bank, because you're all probably 13, not 12, Copa, not 12. But let's be honest, all they really do is just stand up from behind the desk. That's it, nothing more. They just move a tiny little bit, and then they're not suddenly in your face, you know? They're not slashing your throat. They just say, hey, I'm functional, which is kind of lame. But if they get into your office, it's a different story. And at 8, Puppet. The puppet, while having a spooky backstory, isn't the scariest looking animatronic. The character is just a tall puppet that doesn't really have much else going for it. It's just a tall, lanky being like me. But this jump scare is also predictable if you're paying attention to the music box. And this is especially the case in FNAF VR, since you can see the puppet walking down the hallway. The first time in this entire series where we see the character walking with their feet touching the floor. We can see Nightmare on the ground in FNAF 4, but not the puppet, only a fearful reflection. And we never see the character's feet. Yeah, I just figured that it was floating around, which I mean like would make sense, because honestly the puppet skips leg day more than me, and I only work out when the Ninja Warrior training course is open. But seriously, the puppet is the least scary animatronic, and that's on a list that includes less scary characters. Some are even meant to help you, or at least test your ball pit.
Number 7, Circus Baby Ice Cream Scoop. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Amanda, how is Circus Baby William Afton? What are you talking about? Well, yeah, okay, she isn't, but this was before she was merged with the soul of Elizabeth, and I would argue was kind of like an extension of William Afton, who had created her and for some reason had given her some other more questionable features, more murderous features. At least that's how the police seem to view it at the beginning of the game when they are heard interrogating Afton. When they're heard at the beginning of Sister Location, that is what I'm talking about game. Now, I'm not saying that Afton intentionally put Elizabeth in harm's way, but he was the one who likely programmed Circus Baby to be a killer and prey on children who were separated from the group for some reason, which in this case happened to be his daughter, which means in a way William Afton was responsible for Elizabeth's death, which means that the jump scare that happened that then resulted in her death was at least his fault, I think we gotta say. Even if it wasn't like him specifically behind it, even if it was a malfunction, he was still the one that created Circus Baby, and whether or not this had been an intentional thing. I imagine we'll never know actually what Afton's true motives were, and if he wanted Circus Baby to attack Elizabeth or not, but either way, I think he's involved. I think we gotta give the responsibility to William Afton, so I'm counting this jump scare as one of his.
And at 6, Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy isn't a scary animatronic. The dude just looks like an illicit substance dealer with a grudge against the man. Well, like, what's Balloon Boy's deal anyway? Like, he just messes with the lights? Okay, so what? The poltergeist in my apartment does the same thing when I'm sleeping. Why would I care about a little dude running around carrying a bunch of balloons like he just discovered that helium can change your voice? Like, get a life, Balloon Boy, and get out of my office. Don't make me call your mother. Halfway through into number 5, minigames. FNAF 2's minigames were some of the most confusing but helpful parts of the FNAF 2 story. Little between night minigames that would help break up the stress of those nights. However, they would still get you with a jump scare related to the character in that minigame when the minigame ended, thus leaving us petrified. However, after that, we instantly knew what to expect and when to expect it, leaving the jump scare to shake us at most, solely due to the noise that plays along with the character jumping at you, which is unfortunate, but desensitization at its finest. It's in its purest form. And for Helpy. Helpy from Ultimate Custom Night is one of those animatronics that's just a static image being shaken around when they jump scare, which isn't really that scary to begin with. Throw in that Helpy is probably the most adorable of the friendly looking animatronics, and his jump scare doesn't even like work in the game. It doesn't make things worse either. Like, he doesn't activate Music Man and he doesn't kill you. He just wanted to say hi. His jump scare noises, even the MLG horn sound, just sped up a little bit. Like, Helpy is literally cheering you on while you're playing through one of the most stressful games in existence. Like, what everyone thought Foxy was trying to do in the original FNAF game, Helpy is doing. He's actually doing it. He's just being a bro and giving you the love and support we all need and should be getting, whether it's from our bros, gals, or significant bro or gal or other, any loved one in my life needs to hype me up as much as Helpy, or it ain't worth it at this point. That's my standard. The bar has been raised.
Getting close to the end into number 3, Ennard. Now, the Ennard jump scare is certainly an interesting one because it doesn't really happen if you play through and get the correct ending. However, if you refuse to listen to Baby, this mangled tentacle monster just comes crawling out of your basement and then shoves all his robotic bits inside you. That's actually like what would have to happen for the story to continue in the same way, by the way. Like, you don't get scooped, which in the end honestly seems more merciful. This time, instead you get torn open and filled without consent. Like, some of these endings just have horrific implications when you look at them, like when you take them to their seemingly logical conclusions. And I think we all know that making things less fun by inserting logic into every situation is my kind of thing. It is my thing. That's what I do.
And at 2, Grim Foxy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The glory of the actual scare from an animatronic comes from the surprise factor. The fact that you didn't know it was coming, or you had some form of build-up beforehand. Grim Foxy in the Corn Maze minigame from Dreadbear DLC is quite possibly the most anticipated and expected jump scare out of every single game and animatronic in the series. You literally get notified by in-game sounds when he notices you, and then you have a decent amount of time to hide before he actually catches up. He's actually fairly slow. You have so much time that I was able to recite whole vines in a live stream we did when we actually, before he actually caught up to me. And don't get me wrong, when he got me I was scared, but that's thanks to my coworkers putting me on edge because they were trying to break into the office and jump scare me, which I ended up catching because they thought I wouldn't have locked the door to the studio. If you're playing a scary game, you lock the damn door. If you have time to prepare for the scare though, it's not scary. If I was playing that at any other point and they hadn't tried to break into the office and grab my foot, then I would have been fine. I'm sorry I swore, but I'm still upset about that. I can't believe they were gonna grab my foot. That's so rude. Finally, in at number 1, Springtrap. I understand that most of you find Springtrap to be a scary character, and that's understandable. His backstory is creepy, he's the killer of the series, and he was alive in the suit after plenty of metal was shoved in him at the speed of spring locks. So you'd figure his jump scare would be the scariest, right? Well, while the noise that plays may be scary, Springtrap himself does little but move in a zigzag while slowly coming at the player. Come on, man, you're a killer. I understand, you're in your murder suit and you're calm and collected, but dude, this could have been the scariest game in the series if Springtrap wasn't just chilling. It was so bad and fans were so disappointed that Scott ended up extending the series that was meant to be the final game. FNAF 3 was supposed to be the final game, but people hated the Springtrap jump scare so much because it wasn't scary enough, so he made FNAF 4, and he made the Nightmare animatronics. But something that bad deserves to be number 1.